Okay, I'm gonna go get breakfast, and when I get back, I want everyone out of my house except for you and... Who are you again?
The worst season of Total Drama.
Right, you definitely should have already be gone.
What's up guys, Flux here, and since my return to commentary did better than I expected, and I still have a lot of hot topics to expand on, I'm here yet again to talk Total Drama. In my last video, I talked about Total Drama All-Stars and how it came up short both in concept and execution. Today we'll be talking about Season 6, or just Season 5.2 if you want to get all technical. The myth. The legend. The most definitely worst edition of the series yet. Please set the stage for Total Drama Pahkitew Island.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
If All-Stars was the season of missed potential, then Pahkitew was definitely the season of no potential, like none at all. There were sections in All-Stars where I couldn't understand their decisions, but I could definitely see where they were trying to go. The issue was that they had too many ideas and not enough time to flesh most of them out. Conversely, everything about this season seems like it was thrown together on a whim despite being in the same production as All-Stars. Terrible characters, terrible interactions, terrible challenges, just terrible everything. I can't even come up with one thing I liked about the season. The only feeling I can muster up right now is feeling like I wasted my time watching this garbage 7 to 8 times to gather these notes. So, if you guys want to support the channel by liking this video and subscribing, that'd be pretty nice. But enough call to action, let's get this over with so I can push these terrible seasons to the back of my memory. The characters in Pahkitew Island are... how can I put this?
A piece of garbage.
One of the comments in my last video, seriously, you guys should watch my I know it's a little bit long, but it's so good, like it's just so good. Anyway, one of the comments from the last video made a huge point that I don't think I harped on enough. This season has got to take the cake for the most/worst character derailments in cartoon history. The fact that Total Drama is a character-driven show just makes it a huge problem to have. Let me repeat that. Total Drama is a character-driven show. The plot, the settings, the conflicts, all the other things are just accessories. They're important to the overall enjoyment of the show, but if the core aspect of the show, your characters, are not enjoyable to the audience, these bits don't matter. You cannot enjoy these things in a show if the characters are awful, boring, not realistic, or relatable. So even if you have incredible locations and grade A voice acting, if your characters aren't interesting, no one's going to give you the time of day. How is this relevant to Pahkitew Island? Almost all of the characters are terrible, and the tolerable ones are nowhere near the quality of any of the 2 generations before them. Now to be fair, it's not exactly their fault the characters in the season are so bad. Well, it is since they wrote it and animated it and aired it on TV, but still, I digress. The original Total Drama cast had 26 teen stereotypes. The second generation cast had 13 teen stereotypes, and even then, some of them were pretty obvious copies of the ones before them. The third gen cast has 14 teen stereotypes, and it feels like they didn't even try. Beardo just makes sound effect noises. He has 2 total lines. He's basically the teen version of Crazy Frog. Leonard is that one kid from the Try of the Comic Dog video where they go to the Star Wars convention and is on screen for way too long. Why they thought this kid, who really thinks he's a wizard, could lift a pig over the wall is insane, even for animated teen standards. It's really sad that the double elimination this season isn't for him and Beardo. And for some reason, he's the only person in this cast that make it to Redonkulous Race? Like, what the f? Katie and Sadie. Oops, I'm in Amy and Sammy. Did I say Katie and Sadie? It's because they're like Katie and Sadie. Basically interchangeable, except in this case, the 2 are related instead of friends, and they hate each other. Well, Amy hates Sammy for some reason. Like, wow, does she despise her sister.
Go with Jasmine and get me some food. And don't be all lazy like you were when you were born.
And Sammy's character is basically, boo-hoo, Amy is so mean to me. Which is good for making people feel bad for her, but not really good for, you know, making an interesting character. And yes, I called her Sammy instead of Sammy because she's practically the same as her sister. Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Scott, oh, whoops, I meant Rodney, who has the same hair and also grew up on a farm. Man, they were really reaching for ideas this time around. Rodney clearly hasn't touched grass in a while, since every time he sees a girl, he can't help but nut in his pants about it. He had about 2 normal lines, which consisted of, man, that guy is weird, and I'm used to being in charge on the farm. Then after that, everything is just,
there's love and raccoon poop and, hey, with all the shocking, because Chick and I love Girl Island 3. Uh-oh. Yeah!
Ella is a Disney princess stereotype. That is her character. You know, the fact that all these character personalities and descriptions can be fit on a singular sticky note is kind of red flag, don't you think? Topher's the male Sierra. He loves Chris, right down to dressing like him. Damn weirdo. But it's funny, right? Because his name is Topher, get it? Chris, Topher, Chris 2.0. But oh no, he wants to steal his job, even though he's like 16, with no experience, or plan that makes any sense. Also, like, for some reason he broadcasts his plan to overthrow the host of the show that he's on to the cameras of the show from the host he's trying to replace. No, that makes perfect sense to me. Go ahead, write it in the script.
Episode written. Send it to Korea.
Then we have Dave. Dave is what is Dave? Yeah, this is Dave. Dave is such an irritating character from start to finish. He could honestly get his own segment in this video. He's like Noah in the sense that he tries to call the other characters out on their BS. He's like Cody in the sense that he's pretty dorky and the others don't really respect him or see him as a threat. But he's missing one key element that sets those two apart from what he is in the season: likability. Dave is quite possibly the most annoying, whiny, bratty, ignorant character on this show. Noah and Cody are both characters that have their own traits to like about them. Noah's consistent one-liners are always funny, and Cody's dorky way about going about things or his escapades with Sierra were pretty cool to see. But Dave has none of that. As soon as Dave's on screen, he's already set his goonish eyes on Sky, and that's pretty much all his character becomes for the extent of the season. Trying and failing over and over to get Sky's attention. They fool you in the middle to think maybe Sky will loosen up and go out with him, but no, she cockblocks him at every turn. Except for when she needs him, but more on that later. Even when Sky made it very clear that she does not like Dave, he still can't stop sinking lower and lower to simp for her.
Sky?
No, Dave!
Please let me be your boyfriend.
Ah! I need you to hear this! No!
But
No more buts!
if you don't win and you feel like getting in touch...
Dave is a sad example of what happens when you let your kid grow up on Reddit instead of making actual human connections. So when he thinks he's flirting, the rest of the world gets this.
Look, this story's gonna have a happy ending. The boy gets the girl gets the money. That sounds wrong.
Max. Dr. Evil. Laugh track. Scarlet is a confusing case because at first, despite being a painfully overdone stereotype of, hello, I am nerd, they actually gave her a bit of depth to her strategy. She stuck around Max and essentially fed him plans to sabotage the other team. If he succeeds, her team wins and she lives another day. If he fails, he becomes a liability and risks being voted off. It's a pretty sound plan, pretty antagonistic without being too obvious about it. It's great. Where they go wrong is when they try to make her evil instead of just low-key evil. Not every total drama villain has to have crazy wild hair or discuss their evil plan or laugh like this.
I am evil!
To be considered malicious. I feel like when they're writing characters like Mal or Scarlet, they forget that, you know, the show is about teenagers at the end of the day. In fact, I think people liked it even better when their villain characters were acting like real humans. But hey, that could just be me. Mal, what do you think? Yeah, I figured so. Jasmine is a crowd favorite, mostly because in comparison to everyone else, she's actually sane. Her thing is that she's a tall girl, which I guess technically on the show is breaking new ground. And she plays the lead role well for the most part. That is until Sean knocks her off a platform and she switches up her personality entirely. Then she's just whiny and complains about being loyal or her heart being broken, and Trace is just so boring. Sugar is the male Owen. I could make the obvious joke here, but you see it, you feel it, it's right there in your face.
I smell freedom or cow poop. Can't really tell the difference right now.
I don't really have anything else to say about her character, which is weird because she's like the secondary villain of the season for some reason. Look right there. She does the thing the evil characters do when they're evil. That means she's an antagonist and is worthy of making it to the final 3. Maybe the finale, question mark? Well, no, obviously she doesn't, but man, how did she win against Jasmine? How did she make it to the merge at all? Shaun is a Shaun of the Dead reference from what Wikipedia told me, and that is what I'm choosing to believe. All his dialogue is mainly about zombies, zombie apocalypse, zombie survival, a little bit about liking Jasmine, and then back to zombies. Which is odd because despite all that, he's still the most grounded and tolerable character in the entire season. Not that that's a very high honor in the first place. And last up we have Sky. You know how you usually save the best for last? Sky is the most normal, but like that's it. That's her defining character trait. She does gymnastics, so she's athletic, but literally how many other characters have that same feature and have an actual identity? Her main purpose is to be the straight man to other characters' insanity, but she has no personality past that. Oh yeah, I forgot to write this part down in the script, but Chris and Chef are the same. Chef is not in any of the episodes, and Chris is still insane, but they do tell a couple more funny jokes, so feeling a light to decent 5 on their performance. And that's about all the characters. The main issue with pretty much all of these nuts is that they're oversaturated in one key trait. On their own, the things these characters are based on aren't terrible. In fact, campers from the past hold these very traits. Quiet strength, beatboxing, singing, being athletic, all fine things to be part of a character's development. But that's the difference. Parts, not the entire damn thing. You guys remember Izzy from Total Drama Island, right? How she was an off-the-walls character? Well, imagine if everyone from Island is Izzy. What jokes can you tell? Yeah, this person is insane, but so is everyone else. The jokes they tell with these absurd characters are just so one note. See how long you can enjoy the same joke a million times before it drives you insane. How many times can you hear Max screech the word evil? Or watch Sean blubber on about zombies, or stare at Dave while he does whatever this is. I don't know how they managed to mess this one up, but the chemistry in this season is pretty much non-existent aside from Sean and Jasmine. Probably because of how jank the characters are, but it feels like no one's really friends on the island like before. Even on Revenge of the Island and somehow also All Stars, friendships still existed to remind us that, you know, they're not just goons stumbling along on their own trying to win a small fortune. But here, who's really friends? Dave and Ella, where he gave her shoe back to her and she fell head over heels for him?
Please clap.
Max and Scarlett, where Scarlett is just kind of stringing along Max because they're smart or something? Sean and Sky are on the same team, yet the finale couldn't feel more out of place. It feels like they don't even know each other. Honestly, probably even more out of place than Duncan and Beth, and even then they had the excuse of never being on the same team before. In fact, hold up, Sugar was on their team too, and it still feels like the three barely have any sort of chemistry. For reference, the only other time that the final three were from the same team was on Total Drama Island. The tension was felt there because A, the villain, Heather, was in the finals and obviously the other two had a mutual goal of not wanting her to win. And B, the three had interactions all throughout the season and all three had a very established relationship with each other. Both of them hate Heather, Heather hates them right back, and they all want to win this money.
We've got to have money.
In Pahkitew, Sean and Sky act like they barely know each other because in essence, they really don't, and neither does the audience. This was a sort of similar problem in Revenge of the Island, but the main sell of that finale was Brains vs. Brawn. Plus, at least they tried to give a pretty good reason for Lightning wanting to beat Cameron. Double plus, they used their time in the finale to actually give their audience someone to root for. Lightning's fighting for his dad's rings, while Cameron's fighting for his will to live. Vote now on your phones. In the end, all we have to work off in terms of relationships are these three, and none of them really even qualify as friendships. Everything in this season is so boring. We already went over the characters, where there's basically 2 normal ones and about 12 mental hospital escapees, but everything is just so forgettable here. The challenges, I can't even remember most of them because they were super lame. The entirety of episode 7 was wiped from my memory from how stale and boring the challenge was. The last 3 episodes had the most bland, flavorless, not even qualifying for being a challenges in the show's history so far. And the ones before the last 3 aren't exactly much better. The name of the island is lame. Yeah, I get it means explosive and it's kinda clever, but considering how the season is anything but, it's a bit ironic in hindsight. The team names are garbage, which is a weird point to even make because it's something so inconsequential. Like, who cares what the team names are? But literally, I was taking notes down for the season, I could not for the life of me remember what the team names were after they said them repeatedly. Like so many times. The elimination device was trash. Yeah, I get it, haha, explosive, but for some reason jumping out of a plane is somehow more entertaining than being shot out of a cannon. The jokes were trash and forgettable, as previously mentioned. For some reason there's also 2 cutaway gags in the penultimate episode. I mean, switch up your comedy styles if it's funny, I guess, but it's not, and it's really out of place for a show like this when they've never done anything like it before. Just like Revenge of the Island and All Stars, the show is choosing cartoonish overkill over substance, and it kills the vibe of the whole show. I mean, don't get me wrong, Total Drama is a cartoon, and obviously they're gonna do some outlandish stuff even if it is a reality show. Hell, even in the first 3 seasons there was some weird unrealistic stuff going on, but here's the difference between the starting seasons and Pahkitew. In combination with the weird stuff, the show gives you characters and scenarios that are believable. One minute Duncan's hugging a Celine Dion music store cutout with pride, and the next Gwen and Trent are having a heart-to-heart trying to keep their head in the game. The sharks are getting seaweed mud wraps, and then everyone's recollecting all the wild events that happened on the island when they were there. Island, action, and world tour balance out their cartoonish wackiness with real witty dialogue and characters you could see in your day-to-day life, despite just being made from stereotypes. Pahkitew has cats that shoot lasers, a mechanical island that self-destructs, killer Chris robots, a chicken who's a lawyer and a lie detector, crocodiles that can do the Running Man, and a bear with a jetpack. And these are the normal characters who are supposed to be reacting to these things.
Wow, look at me! Choo-choo! I'm a bus!
I'll bring my face!
You ruined everything! I'm telling!
Ever notice walkers look like they're going for a kiss? Just before they eat your brains?
Feel the heat of my death ray. My bed! The ants have started a fire somehow!
With a plan that flowers, you and sunsets aren't not true.
Yeah, I think it speaks for itself. Total drama relationships are either one of three things: kind of adorable, comic relief, or absolutely insane. And the ones in this seasons are, I mean, they exist, I guess. There's a few interactions here and there, but the main two sources of dysfunction are Sean and Jasmine and Sky and Dave. I'll do Sean and Jasmine first since it's less pathetic to watch. Now, I don't know if Sean and Jasmine would actually make an okay couple because their personalities are buried under a 6-ton steel brick of stereotypes. The pacing is all over the place in this season, so after the extent of about 2 minutes of talking during the morning, they've already got the hots for each other. Some a bit too much.
You know how dating works. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes your brain being eaten by a zombie baby that was hiding in your pillow.
But all of a sudden, Jasmine is willing to throw the game to keep Sean in? Now, I know teens are stupid. Trust me. I know. But in what universe are you telling me that someone is willing to throw away a chance at $1 million for someone they just met? They don't give a time frame for how long the seasons are anymore. I mean, hell, they threw away the summer camp idea right after season 1. But let's assume that it's a couple weeks just like before. Are you telling me that after a couple of morning conversations which barely even constitute as conversations because it's between someone who's a tall girl and someone who wholeheartedly believes in zombies like his name is Crazy Dave, Jasmine is very willing to not pay attention to the challenge and doubly willing to throw it for Sean to keep him in the game?
What?
And for some reason, even though her plan essentially worked, Jasmine gets mad at Sean for doing what she was planning to do anyway? And it wouldn't even be that bad if it didn't drag on for half the season. Literally, she said, hey, I should throw this so that he wins for her team. Sean comes in and wins without her knowing that that's what she wanted to do. And she gets pissed at him for it, like what the hell? Anyway, after Sean throws a challenge later to keep her safe, they basically become lovers after not talking to each other for the past couple episodes. Makes sense. They team up on the next challenge and work together in the future, making out with each other while their lives are actively in danger. Makes sense. Jasmine wants to split the money 50-50 with Sean if one of them wins. Makes sense. Wait, what? Now Sean is obviously on his future shit and doesn't want to split the money with Jasmine because, well, he doesn't like her idea because he needs zombie survival, but even though his reasons are trash, he's still 100% in the right for it. These two barely know each other, so why is Jasmine so confident that Sean would just hand her half an easy meal like it's a marshmallow of invincibility? And how is he the bad guy for not wanting to share all that money with someone who's damn near a stranger to him? And with that confusing mess out of the way, oh boy, Sky and Dave. I don't know what they were even trying to go for here because every second these characters are shown on screen together, it makes me vomit in my mouth a little bit. It doesn't help that they're both extremely boring characters, so the stakes feel very low for them even getting together in the first place. But what makes matters worse is that Dave is the worst person in the entire world! Even before his little crybaby rage fest when he doesn't get his way. Every conversation he has with Sky is either filled with pitiful arrogance or embarrassing unconfidence. Sky tells him repeatedly that she likes him, but she wants to focus on the game. So how does Dave respond to that? By not listening and trying to be even more romantic than before, starts calling her his true love despite not even knowing anything about her. And the one scene that they had where it seemed like things were actually going places, this douchebag wasn't even listening.
Right. I was listening.
And it's not all Dave's fault. Somehow all of his creepy advances work on Sky, but once the two switch teams, she's completely over it. As she should be. Because they were never dating to start with.
But we not together! We not nothing! You just exist!
To top it all off, when Sky finally lets him have it, he cries about it in front of everyone. And he still thinks he has a chance with her. Then when you think it can't get any sadder, Dave pulls the fedora off in shame and votes himself off. and still thinks he has a chance with Sky. It's the saddest and weirdest adaptation of Romeo and Juliet I've ever had to watch. Well, maybe not the weirdest, but it's definitely up there. In fact, talking about it doesn't do it enough justice. Let's just skim through the chapter of Dave real quick so you all can understand.
One pass each. Grab something good and make your way to...
Yeah! She's totally right. Good call. I have some dirt on my hands, but no big deal. Let's do what she says.
Right. I think I'll go it alone. It's nothing personal, Dave. It's just easier to be silent when you're by yourself.
Are you saying you find talking to me just too tempting?
If that's how you want to interpret it, okay.
It was an I like you too burp, but...
Don't want to hear the but. Let's just see where things go, okay?
But Dave...
Wakey, wakey! Didn't you say Sky was hesitant about getting into a relationship?
No. All she said was, I like you too, but... The but could be anything. Maybe it was, I like you too, but even more than you like me. Yes, Sky's plan to bring the bear to Chris is terrible and will get us all killed. But I want to show her I'd be a good boyfriend, so... It's not like we're on different islands. There's still a shot, right?
I'll miss Dave, but at least now he knows there's no shot. Okay, that was just a parting gift. From here onward, Dave and I are enemies. Totally.
We're gonna be together forever. Totally. Huh? Sky! How could you do that?
I feel horrible. But Jasmine's right. I'm here to win, not to date. Dave understands that.
I don't understand. Sky! Totally did better than you. How sexy am I now? Bet you wish I was still your boyfriend.
You were never my boyfriend, and you will never be my boyfriend, and you have no shot of beating or dating me. Got it?
I gotta pull it together. If she sees me crying, she'll never want to date me. I don't care what Chris says. Sky says she liked me, and I know she still does. I just need to find out why she's denying it. Denying us. I'm very sorry. I'm also sorry that I believed you when you said you liked me. Obviously you...
Hey, I said I liked you, but you didn't want to hear the but. But that's not my fault.
Please let me be your boyfriend.
I need you to hear this. No.
But...
No more buts. Just no. Bye, Dave.
Great. Well, I don't need you either. I'm a lone wolf. Oh! If I have no chance with Sky, I don't want to be here. I campaigned to get myself voted into the canon. I even made buttons. Sky, if you don't win and you feel like getting in touch... Sorry you got stuck with me. I'll try not to get in your way. Look, this story's gonna have a happy ending. The boy gets the girl gets the money.
Dave, I can explain.
Ah! That was the but? But I have a boyfriend? A boyfriend!
With these controllers, they will be able to throw up obstacles to slow you down or completely crush you.
Sweet!
Game over!
Oh, yeah!
Is Sean okay?
Who cares? We won!
Yeah, basically, screw relationships and Dave sucks.
I've never had a plan for the money, but now I do. I'm gonna light it on fire in front of Sky. Does that seem too bitter?
There's not much to be said about a season that doesn't try. Say what you want about All-Stars, but the ideas were there, they just weren't executed all that well. Instead of further fleshing out the characters from two casts they decided to BS a bunch of characters on the car ride to the writer's room. Yeah, this looks good as a prototype, let's just put this on the idea book. Oh, the season's already out? Oh. Alright, I guess that's good too. There's not much salvaging this season, but if it were up to me, it would make much more sense to just mesh this cast in with the season 4 cast. But only Jasmine, Sean, Scarlet without her evil arc, and maybe Max for comedic effect or something. Throw the rest of the characters out and just have this be Revenge of the Island. Or scratch that, if writing new characters is just too much work, maybe just, I don't know. Make a second season to flesh out the Gen 2 characters? The fans are pretty mixed on this season, but the reviews from critics were great, calling attention to the switch in formula and new characters. So why not evolve on the new cast before tossing them out to make whatever these things are? And if that's too much work and making 3 generations worth of characters is easier, then this season should have came out before All-Stars. Obviously there's going to be a gap in numbers between generations since the first gen had so many more characters than the other two, which is to be expected, but I think it could have worked out. All this depends on what the network was willing to do since they're in control of how the series goes as a whole. I'm really hoping with how TV is a dying medium, if it airs on Cartoon Network first, that they will give it some time. Total Drama is supposed to be suspenseful, so airing an episode every day doesn't work, and dumping tons of episodes to the CN app before they air on TV doesn't work either. And they need to actually advertise the season. From what I remember, Revenge of the Island and Total Drama All-Stars were advertised pretty normally, including their respective games that came on the Cartoon Network website. And this season was advertised about once every 5 damn minutes. I guess they wanted to milk the ads since they were dropping new stinkers every day instead of every week. But I can't even remember seeing any ads for Redonkulous Race, not even to hype up the season premiere or finale, the 2 highest moments of a show like Total Drama. If they want to pick up where they left off and earn some brownie points, they're in a negative right now for canceling Total Drama Reunion. Rest in peace that project. They need to pretend like they actually care about renewing the season in the first place. As of writing and recording this, the only announcement is that a new season is in production. So Cartoon Network has plenty of time to sit back and think about how they're going to make this the best 2 seasons of Total Drama to exist. But if time passes and it's a new cast again, I already don't have much hope for this eternally tarnished series. Pahkitew Island sucks, there's no doubt about it. There's very little to salvage from this season. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if they just retconned the whole thing like Mario 2 or something. Oh man, Chris took some not normal pills and dreamed he was torturing some random crazy old kids. Woo! I think Cartoon Network trying to milk the last bit of popularity and good faith the show had killed the season along with All-Stars. There wasn't enough thought put into the season that it could have been, and regardless of the jokes they tried, the characters were enough to set this whole thing on fire. Hopefully, here's fingers crossed that they'll actually use the characters they already have for maybe an All-Stars Part 2 and patch up loose ends. At most, they can bring back these 3, but otherwise, you can just let the season explode by itself with no one to watch. Whoa, hey there, that was a video that you just watched. If you enjoyed it, of course, make sure to hit the like, subscribe button, comment down below telling me what parts you liked, what parts you hated, what parts you didn't care about. This video took a long time to make. Didn't take as long as the last video because I learned a lot of shortcuts in Premiere Pro. And also cried myself to sleep every time it crashed. But yeah, it took a lot of effort, so I really appreciate it if you guys shared it around, This is probably going to be my last Total Drama video for a bit. I wasn't planning on making it. I did have the notes for it, but it was my top priority because I've always wanted to make a video about All-Stars and Pahkitew, but I didn't have the resources for it. So, now that I'm in the position to do that, I chose to do that. But now I'm branching out into other, more commentary routes. I'm still going to talk about Total Drama occasionally, if I have something interesting that I think people aren't talking about. But, just trying to go into a new direction. I'm not sure if you can tell by the, the off-scriptness of this part, but this is me editing this video, about to upload it. I want to die. Premiere Pro has crashed on me about 80 times. So I'm just gonna close it out. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.